Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you for joining me tonight on this lovely Thursday evening, the 24th of March. 24th of March, which is a powerful month, a powerful day, the best day in the whole wide world. What can I say? I want to thank you for coming on tonight. For those on Instagram, those on Facebook, and those from everywhere. Thank you, Charm. I can see you there. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me just bring in the most reverend Don. I was trying to find the right word, you know.
I know. It's great to be a part of the Sylbourne studio show, man. Worldwide.
Worldwide.
I'm sure right now that Vladimir Putin is even sitting there watching this.
You know what? I sent him a message, and said, Putin, listen, man, the guys are creating sanctions against you, but it's affecting us. So can you just stop it? Because the sanctions are not really affecting you, it's affecting us. So can you actually please stop the war so we don't have no sanctions against you? You know what I'm saying? So ladies and gentlemen, let me just welcome the most honorable James. How are you doing, sir? James?
After a long day? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, there was a slight delay there, but we got you there. I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Good. Yes, I'm good. Happy birthday.
Good. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that.
Happy birthday. Hello, James. How you doing?
Yeah, well, listen. I'm good. You?
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, we even have the doctor in the house. No sound, David. Oh, that's he's playing around there. He always plays around. There's no sound, David. You know that. There's no sound on your side. And I did not mute you, David. I did not mute you, and I wanted to hear your voice. You want to come back in? Okay, you come back in, David. Okay, all right. Cheers. Well, hi, Vanessa. How are you doing? Vanessa, can you hear me? There's like a delay.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I can hear you. There's a delay?
You see us? Yeah,
I'm fine. There's a delay?
Yes, there's a delay. James, can I hear you, James?
I can see you and I can hear you, but are you delayed in hearing me?
No, we can hear you. Okay.
There's no delay?
No, we're okay. We're okay. We can hear you. Hi, Vanessa. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. Doing well.
Okay, fantastic. There's a slight delay there, but that's no problem. James, how are you? Let me just check it out again.
I'm very well.
So I'm gonna get rid of the delay. I think I know what it is.
Okay. Should you want to come out and come back in then? No problem.
No. I don't. I won't come back in. I know what to do.
Okay, no problem. Yes, guys, how are you doing? How are you, James? How is as a chancellor giving you any extra dosh or so because of the spring budget?
Well, I mean, I suppose it helps me in some way. It's not changing my circumstances particularly, but it's better than nothing.
And Gary, what's your take? Have you been listening to the government with the recent spring budget?
Yeah, I did have a I did have a sneak preview or a sneak, in my busy schedule. I don't know really. I think that the government is giving with one hand, but yet taken back in another. So, they're very, very sneaky. I think they're very sneaky where the government is concerned. And to tell you the truth, Sylbourne and anybody that's listening, with the amount of money that the government has had to dish out because of the COVID.
Just 1 second. Let me just check if David.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Live and direct.
Happy birthday, Sylbourne. Sorry to interject.
No, that's okay, buddy. That's okay. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for this esteem panel tonight as we navigate a couple issues. Gary, I stop you there for a second. Just what? And Vanessa, you're okay, Vanessa? Yes. Okay,
I'm fine.
That's all right. That's okay. We can work with you. We can be patient. There's a lady
You're
now.
still having a delay?
Don't worry, Vanessa. Yes.
Are you still having a delay?
We're okay. We're okay. We just wait for you. We'll be very patient with you.
Oh, I was just saying, if there is a delay, then I will just come back in.
Okay. Yes, there's a delay, so you can come back in. Then, okay.
It's better to leave and come back in.
Okay, no problem. Thanks. I was just saying briefly that there's a lady now who is Miss Jackson. You know, the lady who is running for the associate judge in America. I don't know if you guys have been following this, David. I don't know if you've been. She's running to be the associate judge, and she's so patient. She's a black lady there, so patient. All the Republican guys are gunning at her, but she's so patient. And that patience is such a massive virtue. That is why I said to Vanessa, it's no problem. I'll just wait. Vanessa?
Yeah.
All right. You went to Jamaica. You're right.
Yes. Very important.
How are you doing? Good?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, guys, the topic for tonight, really, and just to set the stage, really, was the royal visit, which is one, and also the Chancellor's spring statement. But I'm just going to go quickly on to the Chancellor's spring statement. And there has been a raft of measures which the Chancellor has actually put forward. And a couple of them which I have actually, I think I had a copy of it here, if anything. I don't know if it is there. And it sets out some of his policies. And 5P, I don't know if David, if you have been watching and seeing the policies which he has set out.
I have. So
David is taking a snapshot picture for us, Yeah. James, what's your take on the Chancellor statement?
I really know very little about it. I went over it. I gave it all a cursory glance. I followed, yes, that image that you put up on Facebook. I had a quick look over it. I mean, it's complicated because on the one hand, as the Reverend Gary was saying before, the government seems to give with one hand and take away with the other. On the other hand, when you give, like, to me, I will not really notice that over the course of a 12-month period. But when you're the one, when you take that per person for a whole society, it's a tremendous amount of money, really. So it's complicated. It's not something I feel too strongly about either way, really.
Yeah. David, you're saying something. We can hear you, David.
Oh yeah. Well, no. What I was saying is that obviously it's a tough time for everybody at this moment in time, with regards to the effects of Brexit, the effects of coronavirus as well, and then obviously the recent events that are occurring in the Ukraine. So this is always going to be a tough ask. I think summary is that we are all suffering with regards to finances. Inflation's on the rise, cost of living is going up. I don't know what more could be done by the government. At this moment in time, one of the think tanks has found that 1 million people will be really affected by this, in terms of dipping under with regards to finance. So it's really tricky for the government to try and sort this problem out. I share the views that have been expressed thus far. I don't know what else to make of it. I don't know how the government can really try to make sure that the pennies are kept in people's pockets and that the cost of living doesn't affect us as great as it is currently. 5 pence off the fuel duty is not that great amount of money. It might get people to and from work, but it's not that great because the fuel duty, the fuel prices have gone up astronomically. So I don't know what effect it's really going to have, the changes that he's put about. With regards to national insurance, that's an issue for folks as well. It's a difficult time, and I think we have to prepare somewhat, not for the worst, but for worse times coming because of finance. And we've got to find ways to try and make the pennies count, so to speak. How we best traverse that, I don't know how we do it. I just think that the current war that's going on is inevitably going to affect us the longer that continues. Both sides of the divide. So this isn't healthy. It's not great, and it needs to stop, to be honest.
One of the things I was thinking about, and I was joking with Gary a while ago when I said somehow the sanctions seem to be hurting us more. Or no, I should put it this way: it is not hurting Putin; it is also hurting his people, and it is hurting other people. So therefore, the sanctions, I don't know, is having a kickback effect. What do you say about that, James? I'll bring it.
Well, funnily enough, a friend of mine he's got a very early sort of blossoming relationship with a Russian lady. And so because she's Russian and because of what's going on with the banking, she can't get her own money. So here's a person who has built her own business very successfully, as far as I'm aware, earns her own money, and yet really can't get at it. It's ridiculous, but we'll go back to just like with the budget we were talking about.
Yeah.
What does one do in this situation? I think it's more of a case of we have to be seen to be doing something, and doing something is better than doing nothing, or whatever the logic is. But what do you do? If Putin is as bad and as worrisome as we're being led to believe, you can't really go too far because he'll just if he starts firing off nuclear weapons, well, I'd rather have expensive petrol.
There's also the £330 tax cut, earn up to 12,570 and pay no national insurance or income tax. Gary, what's your take on that?
Well, let me say something here first. Really, if you allow me to read something, it's from the Institute of Fiscal Studies. Yeah. Now we must remember there's a £70 billion furlough that the government had to fund at least. But let me just read something here. It says the nation's finances nor household finances were in great shape when the latest economic shock, the worldwide rise in commodity prices hit, the expected sharp fall in real household incomes this year is all the more difficult and all the more shocking, coming off the back of such a long period of feeble growth, and a chancellor looking both to balance the current budget and provide at least a little succor to public services after the austerity years had very little room to maneuver. Now that says a lot. That says a lot. I think that it's no fault of the chancellor because he's just come in for a very short time compared to other chancellors.
Yeah.
He's more or less taken over from a very difficult period in time. He's listed. If you look amongst the list of stuff that he's spoken of, a 5% or zero, some zero thing. I can't remember what it was in regards to installing solar panels and heat pumps for installation. Now tell me this, right? That's less than that's more than half of the population can't afford pumps and solar panels. So that's not going to benefit. That's not going to benefit people like me or people like yourself. The government, right? The government. Okay, fine. The government has had to spend a lot of money for the citizens in regards to the furlough, but that is what they should have done anyway, because they have been of help. However, what they are trying to do is recoup all of that money that they've spent. That's what they're doing. They're recouping all of that. Now, when you look and you even remember what they did for the NHS. Sorry, doctor.
Yeah.
It's not for you, Dr. David. I know you're doing your best, and my hands are all up there, mate. All up there for you and your colleagues. Was it Wednesday? Every Wednesday or Thursday, the government asked every individual in this country to stand outside and to clap. Right? At the end of all of that, what did they do? They never did anything for the NHS and the doctors. Look how much they gave. Look how much they gave. Right? Knowing that they're going to then come to the country and say we're putting up prices. What can 5 pence off a gallon or a liter do? What can that do? They're taking us for mugs. They're taking us for mugs. They're not doing anything for us, right? They haven't done anything. All the clapping and everything that they asked the country to do for the likes of Dr. David there and the nurses and those who put their lives at risk. Yeah. Sorry. They haven't done anything. But if they did do anything, they're clawing it back. And I think that this government, Mr. Boris Johnson, and I will say, I'm one that supports the Conservative Party, just like Sylbourne, but they're not the party that I think is very good at this moment in time, because they haven't helped. They have not helped the citizens of this country and those who are just above the poverty line. They're just above the poverty line. All of these guys, you in one of your shows, Silbert, I'm sure you highlighted the point of all of these cronies who ordered all of these is it PPIs?
Yeah,
PPE.
Oh, PPEs, yeah. And where are they? Some of them in the dump. They made money. They made a lot of money on this thing. They've made a lot of money, but yet still, we are the ones that's having to carry the can. 5 pence can't do anything. The government ought to be talking to these oil companies to tell the pumps to lower the price, because the price for petrol or diesel really has not gone down. It hasn't gone down, right? 6 months ago, sorry, Sylbourne.
Yeah.
6 months ago, diesel, I've had to buy diesel, and I've seen the price of diesel hit the roof, right? It's not fair. 5 pence is not enough for anybody.
Yeah. Well, someone said to me today that they went to the petrol station and they said they were so wicked because the price went up so high that the 5p doesn't really make a difference. It just
It
brings
don't
it
make
back
a
down.
difference.
Yeah. Vanessa, hi, how are you? I trust you're okay now and your connection is perfect, Vanessa. Ben,
It's
Vanessa,
not good unless she's in Jamaica.
I think she should have gone back to the Jamaica image that she had there.
I'm good. You
yeah,
hearing me? Cause I see some like well, I can hear you, but I could see something at the top. Anyway, are you hearing me?
we are hearing you. Can you hear us?
Oh, something is not right.
No. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's carry on. Sorry. James, let's talk about before we move on to the royal family. Let's quickly. Anyway, what's your take regarding how things are unfolding now with the Chancellor speech? Do you see on a general basis without even going through what's your take on things now?
Well, like Reverend Gary just said, a lot of it's ridiculous because, for me, it's ridiculous because taking the point he made about the NHS, for example, why did we not simply use the AstraZeneca vaccine instead of a Pfizer vaccine, which we spent more money on than the entire pay rise for every single nurse in the NHS?
Yes.
When the AstraZeneca vaccine was like £3 and the Pfizer one went from 18 to £22 per dose, 6 to 7 times the cost of one that we'd made ourselves that was a perfectly decent thing, which was easy to store. Everything about it was just simpler. And, it's just, you could have saved all of that money. These billions would have been saved just from that alone. I mean, I'm no expert in all of this field, but I think if you've got a perfectly good vaccine over here for £3, why are you paying £20 for one over there? When, and it's one that we developed ourselves, well, partly, as one example. And then you get into the petrol prices. Mostly it's tax. The petrol's gone up for various crises over the past number of years. But at the end of each crisis, it never came down, ever. So it's just blatant profiteering and lack of help from the government. And as much as I don't want a government that interferes too much, I do believe that things such as that where it's the lifeblood of an economy, your utilities and such things, that is surely the government's job, is to make sure that I, as a citizen of this country, can afford.
It's breaking up, or is it my end?
Yeah. Keep talking, James. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so my cost of living is being ruined. Before this happened, it's all well and good now saying, furlough. Okay, fine. But then, Putin. Okay, fine. But before that, there was another thing. And before that was another thing. And whenever there's a gap, it never comes back down.
Yes.
And so if we're continuing to pay that same high price that was necessary when there's a crisis, but not necessary when there's no crisis.
Yes.
During times of no crisis, where does that money go?
Yeah, one thing for sure, if there's a war, money is always found. David, what you're saying before we wrap up on this area here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, a point that I would allude to, and it may well have just been touched on, is that with respect to war in itself, there are winners and losers. Quite obviously, the people who have been affected directly in Ukraine have been affected, with regards to having to move or passing away or having relatives pass away. But I do think that the maintenance of this war is in somebody's best interests. And in regards to that, there are going to be winners from the cost of living for us over here. Quite obviously, the biggest part of this for me is obviously the loss of life and the people who are having to move out of the country and are then being housed in other countries. And that's great and testament to people who are opening up their doors and their homes to allow that. But the fact that we're having this war doesn't obviously sit right with me from that point of view. But from a point of view, as we talked about cost of living, etc., it's only making that situation worse, and it's not necessary to continue in that same form, vein of form. And obviously, there are going to be winners from that point of view. And I just think that, you know, the move or want, a desire to stop and shut this off isn't quite there yet, because we touched on it right at the top. You know, all of the sanctions that we can talk about aren't affecting the people that it should affect. It's affecting the people who are out there trying to make the most for themselves, trying to work, trying to be good citizens within the respective countries that they're in. But it's affecting them to a larger extent. And I don't quite understand how that's to their betterment. Now, I take the point that James raised again earlier. You want that more so than you want a nuclear war fallout. But what I want above and beyond is just for them to stop, because it's not in the best interest. I know that's what we all want, but it's just, there's got to be an entity out there, or entities out there who are quite actually happy with the way things are going at this moment in time. And I think that's the real driving force as to what's going on here, without putting a sort of a conspiracy spin on it. That's, you know, why are we in the situation that we're in? What's the real status play at this moment in time? It's not to really to really have anything more than, I think, that a big win in the pocket for most folks that don't really care about the situation that we find ourselves in, because it won't affect them to the degree that it's affecting us all now.
Well. Anyway, what is happening is that this whole COVID factor, Putin factor, sanctions are affecting us, and without a doubt, we'll have to go through this. Vanessa, any word you can say? Let me hear if you can say anything before we switch. I think, Vanessa, you're having difficulties there still, right? James, you say something?
And just one last thing that I wanted to say on it as well was, and I genuinely don't know the answer to this question, but one of my questions is, in all of this, is what do we actually get from Russia? As in England, what is it that we English people need Russia for? And the reason I'm asking that question is, if we don't take very much from them and need very much from them, why do sanctions against Russia affect me in any way, shape or form? This is what I don't understand. It's like, of course, it's a knock-on effect, sanctions against Putin and so on and so forth. I don't know Russia to be a particular global leader in anything. They supply petrol. Okay, fine. They don't, as far as I'm aware, they don't supply England. So I don't understand why my life gets more expensive anyway, regardless.
Well, that's one of the big things now that people are talking about, because the sanctions seem not to be affecting Russia, but more affecting us. And the Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he's going to be implementing more sanctions. So David will have to be giving us some money.
I think if this is the way it works, what we need to do is sanction ourselves, and then Russia will get harmed and we'll be all right. Seems to work that way.
Okay. How do you do that, James?
Don't sanction Russia, because sanctioning Russia is killing the UK. Sanction the UK, and then maybe that will help us out.
How does that sound, Gary? That's a good way.
I don't know.
That's a no from Gary.
But listen, guys. Moving on, there was a very interesting topic. Well, it's all over the news now, and I'll just play. I just play actually this video here, which I have. See if I can play it. I'm supposed to be able to play this video here, and there we go. Where is it? I can't find the video, but I'm supposed to find the video with Prince Harry playing the drum. Can you believe that? Prince Harry playing the drum. Prince William playing the drum. Maybe he doesn't want me to see it because I can't see it coming up or so, but I'm gonna find it. Or maybe David can play the drum actually or something like that. Here it is.
Prince Willem and Kate in Jamaica.
anyway, Prince William and Kate is in I'm getting some feedback here. Prince William and Kate is in Jamaica, yeah?
Correct.
And David, when David travels to different countries, what happened? David went to Barbados, and Barbados became a republic. David has not been to Jamaica since. That's why Jamaica has not been a republic. So the big thing now in Jamaica is that Kate and William is there, and somehow there's a big thing about the Prime Minister said now's the time for Jamaica to be a republic. What's your take on that, Vanessa? Vanessa, you're saying the voice. Speak, Vanessa. Let me see if I can. I'm hearing so many feedback. Okay, Vanessa, it's not working, Vanessa, tonight. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
My take on it is what's that feedback? My take on it is that I don't think it's my mic feeding back.
No, keep talking, Vanessa. So. Just keep talking. I'm
just saying that my take on the Prime Minister's declaration is that he does not need them to be there to make that declaration. He doesn't need them to make that declaration. I guess he wants to be symbolic, but I don't like people who are they're time-ish. And yes. they blow hot and cold, because if you really want to have the last court to be, or you want the head of state to do away with the monarchy symbolically, you could pass a law and you could undo what is done. What I also do not like is the Queen's children are there. It is probably the Queen's ancestors who has done the wrong. And once the status quo remains as it is, in that our last court of justice is the Privy Council, our head of state is who it is, the Queen, and so on, the crown, and symbolically that is. And once you have something within your system, you have to respect that, and that is the spirit in which these types of visits are done ever so often.
Yes.
And you have to understand this visit is at a time when people are recovering from COVID. The world is in war. There's a lot of, even in terms of the Ukraine war, you might say it has nothing to do with it, but there's a lot of talk about racism and how racial issues are being dealt with. And so
you guys just come in.
Everybody is people are up in arms about what is going on. But I just feel, I personally do not have a problem with the prince and his wife's visit to Jamaica, because it is within the legals, it is within the system and within the spirit in which it comes. So for me, all protocols observed and respect is due. However, though, I am looking at the protests that are going on. That is my opinion. And within our constitution and our legal system is the right to freedom of expression, the right to demonstrate. And if you look at the hierarchy of Jamaica, you know, before I had the reggae up, the people who are speaking now are the entertainers,
yes,
the radio disc jockeys, and Jamaica is known as the reggae island.
Yeah.
Jamaica is known as the reggae island. And it is those people who have taken up the politics. If you want to get anything out there now, you have to use Footer Hype, because Footer Hype is the man that carries the news. And it's a different way of talking. So not because people are not physically there protesting. If you look online and you're monitoring the online content, you will see that, you know, there's a lot of talk about wanting your own identity and wanting to do away with the Queen. But at the same time, I'm just saying that we have to be careful how we do away with the Queen, because if you look at the brother, now just give me a second. If you look at Prince William, I'm holding in my hand a Meghan doll. His brother, this is a Zuri doll. His brother is married to a black woman. And let me tell you about socialization. He may have been socialized differently, but now events force people to think differently. And you might see him coming, and even when he was beating the drum, he says, "Show me how to do it." So what happened is that you know, it is in that spirit that people started coming around because the prince's reaction to them. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
Sylbourne.
Sylbourne. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Okay.
Happy birthday
He's
to
gonna blow them out
you.
before they melt.
Okay. Ready?
Ready, go. There we
You
go.
ever send some of that up here, you know?
I don't know if you can see that. It says Happy Birthday Sylbourne and SSTV Sylbourne City LTD. Wait,
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it. No, not really.
It's
We'll
not.
show you a picture after.
Well, how are you going to send the cake all around to your guests, Sylbourne? How are you sending
Sorry?
that cake? How are you
Huh?
sending that cake to us all? When do we get our slices delivered?
Well,
Yeah.
lots of things are done as hybrid now. Everything is hybrid and virtual.
Yeah, virtual cake.
So that's Kayla. Kayla, say hello. Kayla. And that's Keens.
Hello.
Oh, Vanessa is about to sing. Are you singing, Vanessa? Oh, she's playing a song.
I just I'd start again. You want me to?
Instagram. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I was just playing Silver Happy birthday.
That was awesome, Vanessa. You know what I mean? And I just play something. I just play something here. Yeah, finish. Yep.
Okay, bye guys. Good night.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
What? Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye. Okay. Well, Alton, welcome, Alton. You gonna say?
Hello.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Thank you. And happy birthday, my brother. May you celebrate many more.
Yeah, we just want to say, yeah, that we appreciate Sylbourne. I've known Sylbourne for a number of years now, and I mean, spirited man and the spirit in which he comes with his intentions are very pure to bring the issues to light. And I just want to say that God has made you special, and that your footsteps are ordered by the Lord. The Bible says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Most High. So may His blessings continue with you on your birthday, Sylbourne.
Awesome.
Amen.
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 You know,
Amen.
you know what? We're gonna come back on that point. One of the things which I did a while ago in that video. There's something I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know who is driving a car out there. Somebody driving a car? Let me see who it is. Let me see if it is Vanessa. Who is? Let me see. Process of illumination. Okay, I don't know who it is. James, Gary. I don't know. Anyway, let's have fun anyhow still. But one of the key things is that if you saw something which was there saying black excellence, I think Alton, you've been on the Black Excellence, and David, you've been on the Black Excellence already. And what we're talking about is doing something at a higher level, which is called the Black Element Factor. Yeah, and the Black Element
All
Factor.
right.
I don't know. The sound is gone. Oh, beautiful. The Black Element Factor is something which I thought about a few years back, and I do have the logo for it. And it talks about finding the common ground, finding the common denominator, and build on it. Because as people, will always find things differently. I mean, right now we're talking about the Queen, cutting off the Queen of Jamaica. But if we do not emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, it makes no difference. You know what I'm trying to say? And
I agree with you.
yes,
But Sylbourne, what I want to talk when you talk about mental slavery, do we
yeah,
want to sit in quote unquote? I mean, for me, the issues must be separated, and I wanted to make this point. The issues
yeah,
must be separated. I feel that there should be some sort of compensation for slavery, and that's a separate issue. And read the last Court of Justice and the government playing the ping pong ball. I just feel that, for example, I feel they are mentally enslaving each other by virtue of the political party politics, and that is the biggest thing that is playing a part in them. Because once this party is in, this party wants to say, I am the one who wants to symbolically remove the Queen, and the other party wants to be the one. So both of them are playing a game in terms of removing the Queen as head of state. In relation to our court system and the last court, that's also a separate issue, and that's a very big issue, because if you look at the construction of parliament on a policy level, what you put into a process is what you get out. And if you're going to change the opinions of people, these people in parliament are not normal people, most of them. They are lawyers. They are you don't have a lot of land surveyors, a lot of accountants, a lot of nurses, a lot of doctors. Very few of them. Most of the parliamentarians are lawyers, and the legal profession is in charge of the court system. So for me, what I want to ask, though, I'm just asking, is it a feeling that by virtue of them as a profession and being as part of the court system, that they do not feel themselves honest enough, with enough ethics and integrity as to what governs their profession, as to that the fact that they cannot feel that they can be in charge of a court system because of their conduct as lawyers? Don't they believe in themselves to be honest enough? Because there's a feeling that they don't want the court to change. And also, is it also that the political parties are saying, the people outside are feeling like the lawyers, that the system, we are not ready to have our own system, our own last court of appeal, and the people in the island do not feel that either. So the parliament is bouncing off the people. The parliament is bouncing off themselves internally with their internal knowledge as attorneys at law, being a part of the legal system. Because if the lawyers in the system cannot decide that they want to be the last court of justice or not, and they are the guardians of the system, then maybe the types of people who are in our parliament, in terms of those being pure lawyers, that too needs to diversify.
Okay.
Because we are at a stalemate.
Okay, Vanessa, thanks for that point. Alton, you're in the States, so you might not be, what should I say, cognizant of what is happening in Jamaica with this particular trip. I'm hearing this massive. Can you guys hear a feedback? Do you guys hear a feedback?
No, I personally can't.
No.
Do you hear feedback, Gary? No?
No, I don't hear any feedback.
Okay, fantastic. I guess I'm hearing many things. Now, Gary, Alton and James.
Yes.
Right now, the thinking in Jamaica is to remove the Queen as a head of state.
Mm-hmm.
What Vanessa alluded to was the fact that the government of Jamaica has that power in their hands to do it.
Yeah.
The present Prime Minister and his majority in Parliament have that power to do it. Am I right, David? Because they got the majority. And even if they do not have the majority, the opposition leader and his MPs will support the Prime Minister. Even the UIC, which is an independent party, will support the government. So my thinking is this: all of this hoo-ha and all of this thing trying to maybe tell Prince William and Kate This is our intention. The government of Jamaica can do that if they want. What I pick up from what Vanessa is saying is that maybe they do not want to do it, or whosoever do it want to make sure it is on their watch. Am I
Yeah.
right, Vanessa? Is that what
And
you're
as
Yeah.
politicians, they are using Kate and William just like they are using the rest of Jamaicans and playing a game with the entire lot of us. Mind you, I'm sat in here with Princess Megan Doll, and people are also saying that they would have loved to see Meghan and Harry and so on, you know. But William is nice. He said he wanted to play the drum and teach me. So, you know, I mean, even if people wanted to war William, the spirit in which William came in of peace and love, as Bob Marley would say, one love, because the blood underneath our skin is red. All of us, whether we're black or white.
Prince Willem and
Attached. People were, he disarmed people with love, you know, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alton,
So
what's
that's
your
the spirit in which he came. Yeah.
yeah? Alton, what's your take on this side of the world with the Queen? I mean, America is there. You guys have your challenges. What's your take on this?
You're absolutely correct. As she stated, you know, we basically need to be in power. You know, we need to be in control of our own economics. I personally believe that it's not enough to have somebody that looks like you in political power. That means absolutely nothing, because you're looking at the outward appearance, but where is the state of the heart at? So what matters is having somebody in power that has our people's best interests at heart. That's what really matters. Because even over here in the United States, we have individuals in power. In fact, the Supreme Court, what's the lady name again?
Jackson,
the new lady there, yeah.
Yes, you know, she said she would recuse herself if it came to a situation that's dealing with affirmative action. You know, so with that being said, another gentleman is Tim Scott. You know, he's a sellout. You know, so with that being said, I think that a lot of people get caught up in the outward appearance, but not really dealing with a person's mentality and not really paying attention to what's coming out of someone's mouth. Unfortunately, our people have been programmed for being like a savior. We're looking for a savior. We have this savior complex, and it's because of the way we've been programmed. But with that being said, you know, we have to understand that, you know, we have the ability, we have the power, we have the wherewithal. Historically, it is known that we are the ones that was in control of our own economics. We were disrupted because of colonization. So the state that we're in is due to that reason. However, now, not to say that we're not facing discrimination, it's very obvious that we are. Only somebody who's blind, and I'm saying this spiritually, not necessarily physical wise, cannot see what's actually going on as it relates to racism. I mean, that's really the bottom line. You know, the only way we can get where we need to be at is putting somebody in power again to have our best interests at heart. I yield the mic. Thank you.
James, what's your...
I totally agree with you. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Well said.
Let me just thanks for that, Alton. James, what's your take on this?
Well, I really appreciated a lot of what Alton was saying just there about not judging people so much by the outer appearance, because, you know, a lot of subjugation of people comes from within a certain mindset and what have you. And you had a comment, you posted something on Facebook about this royal visit to Jamaica, and somebody commented about it was something along the lines of it was there to keep you sort of in a mindset of being inferior and white people being superior, and this only works on black people. No. Now, for me, my opinion, I have a couple of opinions on that, but I think, firstly, I don't know how to put it. I don't want to sound sort of demeaning, but why would that sort of thing only work on black people? What is it about black people's mentality that is weaker than a white man's mentality that means that type of subjugation is effective? Simply present somebody who's got some wealth and status to remind you that you're less, and that will work on you, but it will only work on black people. That's a shocking lie of note. Just look at all the amazing achievements by black people in a country, in America, which, in my opinion, from what I see externally that goes on in America, racism is, I wouldn't say it's more widespread. God knows how widespread it is, but it definitely seems to be much more overt in America than it is in England. It seems to be far much so more.
It definitely is. You're right.
Exactly. And then, and so despite this overt racism where people are being shot and just all manner of ridiculous things going on, some of the most successful black people on earth reside in the United States of America, despite it all. And that tells me that it's not true, that it's simply you put a white man with status in front of black men and it makes them feel inferior. It's a state of mind that I think you have to agree to. And the other reason why I appreciate what Alton said was the fact that I'm white does not make me to blame for what previous generations of white people have done. And it likewise doesn't make me racist, you know, and it also doesn't mean that I don't care as much about my fellow, regardless of his color of skin. You know, why do I need to be black to care as much about a black person as somebody else? Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember once being asked the question, this was years ago, and there was a lot of gang trouble in Manchester, and Manchester got the name Gunchester, and it was predominantly black gangs in an area called Moss Side. And I clearly remember having this conversation, and my friends were like, oh, we need to stay away from the black gangs. And I said, only white men that are strangers have ever given me trouble. A black man's never said anything to me. I've got no fear of black people. Why should I? Do you know what I mean? And I've never experienced this so-called thuggery of these black gangs and stuff like that. I've never been picked on by a black gang. I've been stopped by gangs of white people on a Saturday night who had too much to drink and decided they wanted to try and rob me or hurt me. It's never happened. But my point is like Alton said, you have to be able to judge people by their actions. You know, it's the color of the skin. We need to somehow get past it, because I want to be able to discuss it. But the fact that I'm white, rightly or wrongly, I feel like I'm precluded from being able to voice my opinions.
Interesting what you said, James, and I do thank you for that. And I bring up this point here now that William and Kate visit to Jamaica. Well, they're representing the Queen. Was it fair on them for in a way the media has been saying that the Prime Minister hijacked them by putting that question to them or bring up that issue with the camera?
I mean, I would have to say I would consider it a little bit disrespectful, and not because of who they are, but it's like this. If you can make a decision without my presence, you don't need to make a scene about this decision in my presence. You could have already done it. What are you talking about? Why do you have to wait until I'm there to use the fact that I'm there to garner the spotlight to then try and make less of me in some way? Because as Vanessa said, they've just gone there in a nice spirit. You know, they're just two nice people that happen to have been born into the situations that they're born into. They've not really done anything wrong. I don't see why they need to be the whipping boys, if you like.
Okay, that's a good point. Let's go to Gary. Gary, what's your take on what you have heard? Even what Vanessa said, that the government of Jamaica, they have the power. And this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The government of Jamaica have the power now to start the process to remove the Queen. They don't need to have that to and fro back with Kate and everybody. They have the power. What's your take? Is it that we don't trust ourselves?
Well, again, I think we're only following protocol, That's all we're doing. I think Jamaica has always wanted to go their separate ways. I mean, down in the 80s, when we were there, Sylbourne, yeah, when you were up in short pants up in St. Anne and I was down in Kingston there, yeah. It was bandied, wasn't it? Bandied about just out that Jamaica become the 52nd state. You know, there was always a talk there. And before that, everybody was running scared that Manly was going to join with Cuba. You know, Jamaica is always, to some extent, wanting to separate themselves and to stand alone. I mean, Jamaicans are that way. We're a people of pride. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we just like to do things our own way. It's only that I do agree that it's unfair for William, who is the son, heir to the throne, to get the beating or to feel the lashes of what his forefathers did. It's very unfair.
Feel the lashes. I mean, he need to maybe need to feel the lashes, isn't it? Lashes. What a word you use.
No, well, it's unfair, but I think it's only protocol. It's only protocol that the government, and it's a pity that it's not Charles that they're telling, because Charles is the immediate heir to the throne. So Charles should have been the one where Holiness really should have told. But I get the point that if Jamaica really wants to do what they're doing, they don't have to tell anybody anything. They just do what they're doing and just make the break and go for it. But it's protocol, isn't it? It's protocol.
David, you're the man who always travels to countries and make things happen. Are you going to travel to Jamaica to get the ball rolling? Because you're in Barbados and Motley just left the Queen.
Sylbourne, I've said this before. Sponsor me and I'll go. And I'll get this sorted. It'll be done. Okay? No more politics. Because this is really just politics for me. And I say that again, politics. In terms of support, you talked about that earlier. You talked about the fact that the opposition is in support. The party that's in power is in support. In fact, Mr. Holness was elected in 2016 on the promise that this would be something that would be pushed forward. And you can quote me on that. Okay, it was part of his manifesto. So the question that we've all raised today is, why is it not being done? And I don't understand why it's not being done. I would disagree with my honourable colleagues that I don't think that Will has been beaten with a stick with this. I don't think it's something that he didn't expect. He would have expected the discussion to take place. And I'm sure as part of this protocol, you know, the Prime Minister would have briefed the team from the royal family that this would take place. There was a lot that was going on in Jamaica at the time, a lot of protests, and he was speaking on that as well. But my question is why it's not taken place this far. If it is the will of the people to want to become a republic, and if it is the Holness and people within the power and opposition would like to.
Are you hearing me?
Well, no, somebody's speaking. Somebody's speaking, Vanessa. Somebody's speaking.
Oh, sorry. Because I can't see you. Yeah. That's why.
Thank you. So that's why I would ask the question, why it hasn't been done today. And at every diaspora conference I attend, it's a topic of discussion amongst members within groups. And, you know, we have thousands of people attend these diaspora conferences, people coming across the world. So I don't understand why it is that it's not being taken to task at this moment in time. I understand the pressures, but why would a party want to elect itself on a basis of manifestos? I'm not saying this is unique to Jamaica, by the way, because many parties elect themselves with manifestos that some things come to fruition and some don't. But this has been something that's been going on for a long period of time. In my belief on this point, for some folks, it will be a symbolistic gesture. For some folks, it will have other particular connotations. And again, if it's the will of the people to want this to occur, then it should be undertaken by the Prime Minister that's in power. and not be played around with. It's politics at the end of the day.
So, James, yeah.
Yeah, I just
Something
want to say
else I
one.
wanted to ask.
Oh, sorry.
I
Yes,
want to ask
Vanessa.
something.
Carry on, ladies
Vanessa, please,
first.
yeah, go on, Vanessa.
I want to ask something. You know, Earl China Smith was the one that gave William the drum, and some people from the Rastafari committee and the music committee. You know, I'm closely connected to the music committee. I've been rebuking him. But and then Earl China Smith answered them very well. When our colleague there, gentleman, because I can't see his name now because there's a stuck on the screen. But our gentleman there, that finished talk was talking there.
David, Dr.
He's
Bird.
not it's not a Jamaican, our guest who is not a Jamaican. I just wanted to say something. I'm going to pick up on what he said because Earl China Smith said something. He said that Jamaica has done nothing for Rasta. And when he's talking about looking at people and how we treat each other, you want to talk about imperialism, you want to talk about the Queen, you want to talk about the children that come, but how do we treat each other? I mean, if the only thing you have Bob Marley who's a Rasta man, and there's other day that the police disgracefully called the Rastafari here. A Rasta man can't just walk in a place and get a job like us who would you say we are bald. You know, we don't treat the Rastafari good, which is a symbol of blackness and the symbol of music. So Earl China Smith is saying to them, when you're coming to talk about the Queen, I mean the white people, and I would call them white people, have been very good to us musically in terms of how they have taken the reggae music and transplanted it. But they jump up to the reggae, but they have no respect for the Rastafari, who is the epitome of blackness and Africanness. So as he said, it has to do with not just outward appearance, but our relationships. And when you speak about the types of racism in England and the type in America, to me, the overt racism in America is easier to deal with. But the covert racism in England is very difficult to deal with, very frustrating, and you can't see it, and so on. So sometimes when you think people are rebelling, they are rebelling online and through their diaspora from even Jamaicans that are in England here, and how they are probably being treated in employment and opportunities. And there's a lot of, spur off to this, because nowadays it's not just physical relationship, it's a globe. But as far as I can say, I think we all need to stop this racism like now, because we live in one globe. Whilst we're talking about racism and this and that, and we are distracted along those lines, Mr. Putin is there with his bombs. You understand? Yeah. So we have to unite with an end with a global disaster that the world that we're fighting over is about to end, because one man is going to bomb us all up. Let us see how we're going to deal with that. Yeah. Are we going to stay here and fight our skin color?
Yeah. Alton, there's a point that Vanessa made where she said that she rather to deal with the racism in America than the one in the UK, which is covered. What's your take on that?
It's kind of amazing that you called me on that one, because I was like, no, it's not easier. Because first of all, you still have white supremacists in power. Okay, so it's not easier for us. This is the reason why we're still fighting against discrimination over here in the United States of America. This is the reason why our people getting killed by racist police officers. This is the reason why when you have video camera footage of these racist
you can see it to deal with it. We can't see it here. God.
May I please finish my point?
And it's a 1 second.
Please let me finish. Yeah. So as I was stating, for us, we are still dealing with it because we have numerous names I can call out. Trayvon Martin, Emmett Till, so many throughout history, and it's still happening today where justice has not been served, and so they throw us crumbs, like for instance with Sandra Bland, her family got millions, but the police officers still did not receive the reprimanding. The police officers didn't receive the reprimanding that they should have received. So because they give out money, they act like that's going to be a situation where they're going to be quiet. And the family did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the family didn't. So with that being said, we're not receiving justice because, again, like I said, these individuals are getting time, but it's not the actual time in prison that they should be getting. That's not justice.
No.
That's not justice. You know, if you're not going to, you know, hold them fully accountable, then to us and to the family who lost their loved ones, and to all of us who are African, who are one, you know, I'm a Pan-Africanist. That's what I believe. We're all one. It should affect us all the same. But nevertheless, though, you know, that is injustice. That's like a slap in the face.
Mm.
And I'll leave it there.
Okay. Well, sorry, Vanessa, one second. Vanessa, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that I understand what he's saying, that it's difficult at both ends, and that's why I said it needs to stop. But I've lived in England more than I've lived in America, so maybe it is my ignorance of what you're going through. But the gentleman there said something. I see in America where the racism, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like in terms of employment, like it's a kind of racism where even if they don't like you, they'll allow you to accelerate in terms of employment at a certain level. But here in England, I mean, for a black person to get, it might not be true, but I'm just saying in terms of your educational level and the acceleration in, let us compare notes, because I don't know. Because it's hard for a black person to get a job.
We still go through in the education system. They won't even allow us to teach our history.
So you see, so we have the same problems.
Oh yes,
so
absolutely.
we have the same.
Absolutely.
We have the same problems in terms of our skin color. And I just wonder, when is this gonna stop though? Because I'm fed up of it. I don't want to give racism, and I don't want to take racism.
Well, the show is gonna stop shortly. That's one thing for sure. But we're gonna let James speak, and I've got Litz. My DJ is gonna come on. He says he's gonna play a DJ tune for us briefly.
So,
you know, but let me go to James and then wrap up, and then Litz gonna just say something. He follows me with the work I do, a young chap, you know. James, wrap up.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say on that was, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but it's I disagree a little bit with Vanessa. Not entirely, but I disagree a little bit, because the thing is, our systems are so old. You know, we're still basing a lot of our legal systems on times before there was ever slavery being driven by the British economy, selling slaves and so on and so forth. And it's more, because it's so much older, it's a class system. Like in America, you can talk about white privilege. I don't feel white privilege in this country. I'm telling you now, I can't talk about what you've personally experienced, but I can talk about what I've experienced, what my friends have experienced. And in England, it'd be more of a systemic class system rather than a race system, because all that I see happening is the complaints that I see currently with people who are black or Asian or what have you in England are only the same things that for even centuries before was happening to white people in this country. It's more of a class system over here. Do you know what I mean? Just the difference is racism is the part that's getting highlighted because of, in America, with it being a much younger nation, it's so much more obvious and it's so much more easy to target somebody based on their skin color because they're not old enough to have had a centuries old class system in place. So everybody that doesn't come from the right place, because everybody that I know that's working class have all got multiracial groups of friends. I've always known multiracial groups of friends. My mother always had multiracial groups of friends. I have never physically seen racism in front of my face. I've never witnessed it, not once. All of my friends that are multiracial people do relatively well in life, at least as well as or better than I do. In the class groups that I am within. It only seems to me to be harder as you move up that social ladder, and that is where it gets more difficult. But if your background is considered poor, they don't give a shit about your color of skin.
Yeah. Okay. James, thank you for that. Vanessa, thank you for that. Alton, thank you for that. This is a discussion. I find that all the discussions that we have had in the show, and many people have said it all a while, it keeps adding up and it keeps adding up. And we also can't keep going because we cannot stop like today. We've got to keep it on as much as possible. I want to just big up to Dana Martins and happy birthday. Dean Crossfield, they got more when they come to England. Michelle Clark said, we are being indoctrinated, so a lot of us can't see it in any other way. Michelle Clark as well said, it has nothing to do with white superiority or black inferiority. It has to do more with white privilege. Blitz, how are you, sir?
Yes, King, how you doing? You all right? Blessings,
I'm good,
people.
I'm good. Yes, say hi to the
man.
person
Wicked.
you're going to do for us in the next 2 minutes.
Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Yeah, I'm just going to run you a little birthday rhythm, just vibes up the place a little bit,
We won't get copyright. They won't shut us down, no?
Is everything all right, though? You can hear all right?
Yes, we can hear. Yeah.
Yeah? All right, cool, man. Without further ado, we're going to just go straight in like this, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Who you are and knowing what you're about and understanding your purpose and your passion will take you to the next level. Like DJ Live. Take it, master. Boom.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man.
1 2 1 2. Big up Sylbourne. Armstrong, let's go. My name is DJ Light. I'll vibes up the show, Wicked tune. Sounding all right, yeah? But also, I would love to rap over this beat right here. Yes, man. It's a place to be. Yes, man. It's on beast mode. And if you know about beast mode, you kick it in. Tunes, yeah? Right, we're going to the next one. Hope we don't get locked up, Wait! You got dancing shoes on. Get power to the people, let's go. This track's by my brother, Obi Noodles. Shout out Obi Noodles. Okay. You know, music speaks a language within itself. Let the music do the talking. You hear that? DJ Live.
pose, sniper pose.
You hear that? Activate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
But listen,
You like
before
it,
you
yeah?
go, yeah, that's
Wicked,
it.
wicked.
Yeah. Before you go, tell us about how we met and the walk and talk, the motivational stuff.
All right, so yeah, I met Sylbourne through my brother Terry. I joined him. Terry was doing a walk and talk with Sylbourne, and I literally just saw them post it up, and then I think I came into the live, and from that moment, I was touched. I was inspired by what they were doing, the conversation that they was having, and the effect it had on me as a young kind of person, a young black person, and I thought it was something that definitely people should be doing more about, and definitely people should be looking and inspiring to kind of the certain topics that they're talking about. They should be trying to the concepts and stuff that they should be taking on board as a young person. So for me personally, it was like wide eye opening. It made my eyes open wider, and I was just like, yeah, these guys, they're talking some real stuff and stuff that I need to be hearing, about important stuff. You know what I mean? Whereas, young people like me, they don't really have role models or idols or the right role models or idols, should I say? Whereas these are my kind of role models and idols that I look up to. And since then, I think I was in the comment section and just laughing and joking, and then we connected from there. And I think I got on once. I came on the Walk and Talk show, and from then we kind of clicked. We clicked together, and then we made the concept boost mode. So we was just talking about how you just how sometimes you get down, and sometimes you need motivation and you need to find it from within, to do certain things in life and go about the day. And that's when we came with the phrase boost mode. So anytime that you need some motivation, or you're struggling to do something, or you want to do something and you're kind of procrastinating, it could be anything in life. We come with the concept, you have a it's like a button, when you're in a car like Fast and Furious, and you just lift up the latch. You lift up the latch. You lift up the you lift up the latch, and then you push the button, and you're going fast already, but that button that you press, it goes like turbo, it takes you to the next level, and that's what we're on. Sometimes you have to just go to the next level sometimes, because life is hard and things try to get you down, and you have all type of stresses, family, spirituality, mind, body, soul, that we was talking about. You got to be in tune with the mind, the body, the soul. If you're not in tune with all three, then one of them three things is down or needs picking up, you can't function right. You know what I mean? So you have to have all three, mind, body, soul, all in tune and all looking after it yourself, and your mental health and etc. So mode can just level, and just
boost mode activated.
Activate it. It's not just a word, it's a doing thing. It's like a verb. It's a doing thing. It's a doing thing. It's action. It's an action, and you have to activate it. And it can't be, I can't give you the boost mode. I can only, you have to, it comes from within. It comes from within yourself to bring it out, and whatever you need to do, tidy up the room, anything, it could be anything, whatever you need to do, because your mind works in a certain way where sometimes you say, I can't do this or I can't do that, but when you kick into that boost mode, there's no can't. There's no can't, it's a can thing, and you do it.
Listen, Aaron, I want to thank you so much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, Aaron, when I do my walk and talk in the morning, he's one of those guys, even just one guy comes on and we just get crazy. And he plays the music sometime, and they're dancing. As a matter of fact, you might not have heard, if you heard a voice on that track there. It was my voice saying boost mode activated. I'm on his jingle. He has me as a jingle now. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, man. I'm gonna play that one more. I'm gonna play that one more time.
Wait. And one more thing. I'm supposed to go to his studio to start my rap career. To do some rap music.
Yeah, look out for that. Look out for that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Activate.
That's it. All right.
Activate. Boost mode with DJ Lights and DJ.
That's it, man. That's it. I'm gonna use that one. That one come fresh today, you know, fresh today.
Yeah.
So that's gonna get used, you know. Anytime I'm doing my DJing, I'm gonna activate the boost mode 100%.
Awesome.
Welcome to the club, Sylbourne. Welcome to the club.
Listen, guys.
Rolling back the years.
Say there while we wrap up. I mean, what I'm learning these days, and Gary's teaching me also that you get younger. The Bible says, in your old age, you don't retire, you refire. So as I'm 53 today, I'm launching my rap career, and my jingles career. Alton is going to do my financing, and David is going to make sure my eyes are intact, and Vanessa is going to make sure that my policies are in place regarding how we get rid of the Queen, and Gary is going to make sure that my spirituality is in place, and James is going to make sure that my hair is in order. and Dian, who is there, thank you for Dian so much, and all the guys over there online as well. So listen, guys, I want to thank you so much. I'm hearing feedback there. I don't know where the feedback is coming from. I don't know if it is you.
I'm not ready to get rid of the Queen.
Oh, I'm hearing the feedback.
Vanessa, man.
It's Vanessa don't want
I'm
to get rid
keeping
of
the Queen for now.
Actually, a lot of people in Jamaica love the Queen. Actually,
Big up Megan and big up William and his wife, and big up Ari and his wife.
Yeah. Okay, David.
Yes,
thank you so much. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you, David.
I want to big up.
Take care, David. Thank you.
William and his wife, and big up Ari and Megan, and I wanna big up the Queen. So I want to see the Queen come to the next Sunfest.
Yes.
Wearing our shorts and our things and our glasses.
Maybe the Queen can come on to the show as well. Yeah.
Let's have a good time. And I guarantee there will be no protest because she'll be skanking in the island. She can get a Rasta wig.
James.
And we'll all be singing One Love, One Heart.
James, thank you so much for joining again as much as possible. I'll make sure I get some hair so you can finally do something to my hair. Aaron, sorry, my apologies, James. You're muted.
I know.
Sorry, I was trying to find where the sound was coming from. Yeah. James, thank you so much again. All right.
My pleasure, always.
Always. Reverend Gary Graham, peace out.
Enjoy the last 2 hours of your birthday, King. Nice one.
That music, thank you. The music was.
Yeah.
I'm from the rain generation. I appreciate that.
Yeah, wicked. You can go and find me. My name's at the bottom of the screen.
I've subscribed to you. Done it.
Oh, wicked. Yeah, man. I've got SoundCloud as well. SoundCloud, loads of mixes and stuff like that.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, so I'm promoting DJ Lex, and DJ Lex promoting me as well. Gary, you're gonna have to we're gonna have to promote you on the dance, because I saw you were dancing, Gary, you know what I mean?
And this is Zuri Doll Sylbourne, this is Zuri Doll. Zuri Doll, if you want to buy dolls, British dolls, African dolls, British clothing, African clothing, they are on Shopify and on Zuri Dolls. They sell Jamaican talking doll.
And that's Saffron, yes?
Yes, that's Akuya Saffron. If you want to locate her, this is one of Megan. And since William not the drum, we're gonna get one of William with the locks. We're gonna get him some Rasta locks,
Yeah. And she was on my show some time ago, Saffron as well. So you can go onto my show and watch her, thing like that. Alton, listen.
Akuya Saffron on Facebook. AKUA Saffron.
Thank you so much, Alton, for that time and your contribution as much as possible.
You're
Guys,
welcome, big brother.
okay, peace out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Those on Muna on Instagram, thank you. Those on Facebook, YouTube, and everyone, much appreciated. Thank you for the love, and much more to come. Look out for the Walk and Talk Motivational Black Excellence, the Black Element Reload, as Dian said, as much as possible. Gary, boom, peace out. Have a good night.
Bless you.
Yeah, remember to like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Bye-bye.